this is how I generally depict a relationship for most people. So, a woman, you have to think of her as your pet dog, and you're the dog owner, right?
What did he say?
My good Olympians, welcome back to another episode of Olympus Talks. I'm your host, Zeus.
Hercules.
Man himself, Kratos.
I'm back again with Sam Rock here. Sam himself, Mr. Sam here. You see me? Supplements all over the table, you know, peeps. Link in the description. Let's do the dirt now. Anyway, today we're going to be diving into a relationship topic. You know, we have to keep Sam on for this, and I want to hear relationship views. The man versed in the business thing. I know him versed in people who man bedroom.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Yeah, only
Anyway.
love thing, you know. You don't get me no problem now.
Just to say,
Yeah.
I'm a good man.
No, you will.
I just hang out with these guys.
It's a no affiliation here.
No affiliation.
Yeah.
Look, I just do business with them, alright? I'm a nice Christian man, not heathen.
Yeah, he's the one that supplies the women to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best believe. Alright. So,
Yo, the money are informal, you know.
So the topic for today, peeps, is going to be around what it's like to be a man in the relationship. So, I'll start off with you, Sam.
God.
What does it mean to be a man, quote unquote, in a relationship?
The man.
The
The
man.
man in a
Alright.
relationship.
Look, all I'm gonna say, being a man is hard.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different backside definition, don't?
Yeah.
The woman them have one definition, the man them have a different definition, and nobody can really point it out. There used to be, a solid
Yeah.
definition. This is what a man is, yeah?
Yeah.
You could say, okay, my father, my grandfather, that is a man.
Yeah.
You know?
Those are male role models.
Male role models, yeah, but society has changed, dynamics between men and women changed over time, the roles that men and women play in society has changed over time. So it's kind of hard to use that same definition that we've been using for years. But what I'm going to say is this: to be a man simply means you have to be somebody worthy of respect.
Yeah.
Alright? In the sense that you're willing to put others before yourself, you're willing to put others' feelings before yours, you're willing to stand up for others, to be able to help others, to be able to take care of others. Somebody who people rely on. That's what it means to be a man. Whether they rely on you financially, emotionally, physically, it doesn't matter. You're relied upon. To be a man is simply when you're gone, your absence is felt. That's it.
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
And to be a man in a relationship is the same thing, is that to be the man is that obviously your woman has to respect you.
Naturally.
If she respects you, then there you go. And she can respect you for different reasons. Not everybody is good at everything. Not everybody can be super jacked like Jugs and Ricardo. Not everybody can be a pretty boy like Bruce.
Yeah.
Not everybody. Not everybody can be everything. She can respect you because of your ambition or your drive. She can respect you because of your accolades. She can respect you because of your personality or the trials and tribulations that you've been through. You can be worthy of respect for different reasons. The only thing that remains constant is that you're worthy of respect, and respect in the sense that you look up to this person, knowing that this person is capable of things that I am not. All right, that is what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Alright?
Well said.
Being a man doesn't mean lording it over other people or women.
Yeah.
It just means you acknowledge the fact that you have a role to play, and your role is to take care of others. That is what it means, in my opinion.
Well
Alright?
said, well said. That's a very solid definition. What you, Ricky? What's your definition of what it means to be a man?
You see this jawline right here? I'm wanting to close up on it. You see this jawline? This is what it means to be a man. If your jawline not sharp, you're not really a man. You see, if your muscles them not big, if them not pop through the sleeve, you're not a real man. You're too skinny. You're a girlfriend. Anyways,
Bro, we said no toxicity now. Come on.
but when I see
if you want your muscles to look like that, just buy something from
Buy
Samrock.
supplements from
Samrock
Samrock.
supplements, yeah?
SamrockSupplements.com. Check out the website.
If you want
check
to be
out
a
the
man.
IG page. You
Sir.
see me? Samrock, Olympus, tough. Anyways,
Pause.
just cut out that part there. Cut out that part there. Anyways, what it means to be a man. For me, well, in the relationship, what it means to be the man in the relationship is that most of the weight and the responsibility of the relationship is going to be on your shoulders, because you have to make sure that the woman that you're with is 100% comfortable with being with you. You don't want her to feel uncomfortable, insecure. You want her to feel reassured. You want her to feel like you are a reliable source of support for her as well. You have to make sure say you're taking good care of her, good care of yourself, and you have to also not saying that you're demanding, but it's more of a requirement to make sure that your woman also respects you. You get me? Because there's no sense in being in a relationship with a woman that has no respect for you.
100%.
Yeah? So at all times, not say you're supposed to lord over her or cower down, but at the same time, if say for example any disagreement, any arguments come about, you make sure say it's not a case where she'll shout after you, she'll undermine you, she'll bring up things about you that are not necessary, and you now go toe to toe with her in an argument. You'll go put your foot down and tell her say, well, I'll wait until you calm down and then we can have a mature conversation. Yeah. Right? Because it doesn't make sense your argument. The whole point of a relationship is not toxicity. Yeah? You want to make sure that
that's a first work out.
Oh. Anyways, but yeah, you're the provider, and providing doesn't necessarily always have to mean monetary. You're also providing emotional, moral, and other kinds of support as well. That's also what it means to be a provider. And you're also taking up your responsibility when that time comes to be a father as well. So now you have more than just one responsibility, and I don't mean you, I mean your woman and the child as well. You understand me? You have to be that strong figure in the child's life to know that this is what a man looks like. So when your daughter becomes a woman, she knows what kind of man she's supposed to look for in a husband, and also what your son is going to be when he becomes a man as well. It can't be a watered down version of the very feminized state that masculinity is in,
has become,
in the modern time. You get me? At the end of the day, a man operates a certain way, looks a certain way. You understand me? A man doesn't look like somebody that wears a skirt. You get me? A man doesn't look like somebody who puts on makeup or whatever. You get me? And at the end of the day,
we don't care.
Yeah, that's it. We really don't care. Yeah. So you have to remember, as a man, you require respect. You're providing stability in your relationship as well as your own life. And a man's life is very hard. No matter what, nobody wants to say, a man's life is very hard. You get me? There are going to be many obstacles that you arrive at in life, and there's nobody that's coming to your rescue. You have to save yourself, and you have to always be smarter as to what you're doing. You have to plan for your future and think long term when you're in a relationship with a woman. That is what it is to be the man in the relationship to me.
Yeah, you just run out at your time, Ricky. Yeah. Pretty much, you know, sorry, to piggyback off what Ricky and Sam just said, you know, pretty much it's around being a man in a relationship, especially in today's world. You know, it's pretty much about garnering respect, you know, not just in your relationship, but also, you know, with the people around you. You know, I feel like men are natural leaders, and being a leader doesn't just mean who can run the most successful business or who can lead all these people, you know, and part through the Red Sea type of mids. It can also be leadership in the sense of, you know, providing a certain set of, I guess, a platform for people to emulate, you know, younger set of people around it to emulate, you know, being a respectable, upstanding citizen, you know, somebody who can help others in many meaningful ways, you know, something that, as I said, the younger generation can emulate, you know, and within the confines of a relationship, the same rules apply. You know, you want to be in a relationship where you are the person that takes charge. You know, you will lead the relationship and not from a place of fear. As the guy said earlier, you want to lead with respect. You want your woman to be willing to follow you.
Not with a wallet.
Yeah,
Like
not with your money
on the phone, you see.
or by force or any such things. You know, she's willing to follow you. You know, without you forcing her to follow you. Essentially, you know, every argument doesn't become a shouting match and stuff like that. And even if that does happen, you know, your woman is always willing to, you know, bring herself back down to her feminine level and, you know, reason with you in a respectable manner, you know, because arguments are going to come up. You know, relationships aren't perfect, you know, life isn't perfect, you know, things will happen, but at the end of the day, your partner understands, you know, where she stands in the relationship, where you stand. You know, you're the provider, you're the leader, you're the security in the relationship. You know, she's the one that she provides in her own ways, you know, especially emotionally. You know, she helps to manage the home and, you know, keep everything together in that sense. You know, she takes care of the children. You know, these are roles that you both can share, but she tends to be more along the feminine side of the relationship because that's her God-given, you know, her God-given, I guess you can say, talent to tap more into that providing, that nurturing side, sorry. Alright, so that's my definition of being a man, essentially. You know, how you dress and you carry yourself, I guess it will depend on whatever culture you're coming from. But once you conform to more the standards that make you more a man in that culture, then I'd say that's what makes you more of a man. Yeah. Although, what's your take on that, Jokes?
Alright, first thing first, me being a man, the most important thing is that you are a good leader. You know, and being a good leader means naturally people are gonna look up to you. And your woman have to respect you, brother. And that doesn't mean that she respects you because of just what you can provide in a relationship monetarily. As I say, I have to lead by example. You have to be like a father figure, a proper father figure in a relationship, right? Because, how am I put it? You know what I should be like, remember, you know, people kind of look for people, them look for certain things in an important way. Them parents would normally provide for them. So if me I go there with a girl, if me want to be a mother and my wife, I expect her to have good motherly qualities of my mother. It show me. And if in the reverse sense now, then she want me to be a good father figure. Right, like our father, let's say, is a good father, so she can be assured that I will be a good father to her children. So I don't think being a man necessarily is just being a provider, but it's leading by example, because you can be a provider and a woman respect you, people them respect you. Alright? And you have to be confident. You can't be a leader if you're not confident. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the biggest, most muscular man. Because as I say, being masculine is by being confident and being able to lead people, being a person that people can look up to. Right? And that's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, alright. Jump into our next question. And obviously we're starting with you, Sam.
Oh, God, don't get me cancelled. But it's alright, come.
Do you think traditional values, and this is something that you kind of seemingly dove into earlier, because a lot of people are under the mindset that all relationships need to be monogamous, they need to be super conventional, you know, Bible-based, Christian-based and all of that, are religious-based, you know, monogamous family unit type of thing. Do you think traditional values still play an important role in relationships nowadays?
Look, I think they definitely do. Again, as society has evolved, things change, but at the same time, the backbone of society has always been the sort of family unit. But what that family unit looks like is different across cultures. The Western view on it is the mother, the father, the 2.5 kids.
Yeah.
Right? That's the typical nuclear family. Yeah. But in my culture, I'm Indian. So in my culture, you know, the couple would often live with their parents. So the married couple would live with their parents. So you'd have, and when I was growing up, I lived with my mother, my father, my 2 grandparents. Yeah. And sometimes one of my uncles would be staying there as well. It's a much larger family unit, meaning there's much more support, much more. You know, with more, obviously there's more problems with more people because it's more complex, right? But you know, having that extended family, it really does help. So in my personal opinion, families are extremely important, and you need a sort of mother and a father figure. You need that sort of head of household, you know, person who takes care of the homemaker versus head of household kind of thing, and that can go either way. But family is extremely important, and this idea of just having children and doing it on your own, I don't think that's helpful to society as a whole. But look, again, people can do what they do. It's very difficult. I'm never going to tell anybody to not go and do something because it's not my life. It's not my place to go and tell them. My girlfriend, they're not my sister, they're not my mother. They're not people who should look at. I'm not a person of any authority to them. Basically, I can only say what I think and what I think is right. All right, but in my opinion, family units are very important. However that family unit looks is, it varies, but there needs to be a family unit.
Yeah.
All right. I think everyone could agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Across all spheres,
because even with the extended family you brought up earlier, there's still that same dynamic there.
Mm-hmm.
If the father isn't there, the grandfather, the uncle, they can still play a role.
Yeah.
In the leadership aspect of the family. You have the aunties and so forth. They will still cook, help take care of the household. Provide love and care, nurturing aspect. Even if the mother isn't there, so the same dynamic, works there. Yeah, pretty much. So what about you, Ricky? You still think traditional values serve a purpose?
Yeah, traditional values are pretty important and big for me.
Yeah.
I believe in getting married before you have children.
Yeah.
So
progressives will have you thinking otherwise. That I tell people you can be progressive, but don't be progressive to the point where you start to regress in certain behaviors. Because sorry to interrupt, but there's no progressing past the nuclear, the extended family, because they said the father and the mother, the auntie and uncle still play a very important role in that.
Yeah, they're very important.
Even the extended community.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Exactly.
So, in my opinion, I grew up in church. I grew up with both my parents, seeing both of my parents, and they were both married, as long as I've been alive for, and it played a crucial role in my development because I saw my mother, how she took care of me, how she took care of the household. I saw my father, how he provided for the said household, how he went out, he worked, and everything. So for me, it provided a very solid foundation for my development. And tell myself, say I want to have something like this, right? And also including God in my relationship as well, because the foundation of a good marriage is God Himself. Because you go in front of a pastor, the pastor makes everything official, blesses the relationship, and you make a covenant with your wife in front of and in the presence of God, right? And He's the one that brings you through all your trials, all your ups and downs, till death do us part. So contrary to what a lot of the ideologies that modern society wants to bring across, I can't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with marrying
single parent.
Yeah, I don't agree with single parent conditions, because I think both parents are just very crucial in a child's development, and just having one, you can't have one parent raising a child and expecting them to get the full the full experience of proper development.
Yeah.
Because a mother can teach a child as much as a mother can, right? And I'm not trying to bash the single mothers out there.
We technically are, but yeah.
For those out there who are doing as best as they can with their children, modestly, earnestly providing and raising their children with good morals and stuff, kudos to you.
Especially if it wasn't by choice, your partner passed away, something happened.
Yeah.
Alright, fine.
We can't knock nobody for that. You get me? Circumstances do happen. But to say that you want to spread the gospel of single parenthood, I don't agree with.
Yeah, that's us.
Alright. Likewise for single fathers.
That guy over there definitely is a single man. He don't look too happy. Yeah. Continue.
So,
yo, I might have to come out of this now. So, I'm gonna fuck up my life.
So, Yes, likewise for a single father, there's only so much that a father can impart on their children from a man's perspective. So in order for a child to be brought up with proper development, you have to have both parents present. And I don't mean both parents present arguing all the time.
Yeah, toxic
and,
relationship.
Yeah, toxic situations and households don't raise children properly. So you have to make sure that when you get married or when you find someone to have children with, it is something where you can provide a healthy environment for that child to grow in.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are way too many damaged people nowadays.
Just
And
believe.
whatever trauma you endure as a child, you bring them with you into adulthood, especially if they're unresolved. Right? So a lot of that helps to also mitigate childhood trauma as well.
Yeah.
Right? That I really just my take in it. I like the traditional stuff. I like the fact of dating, courting, then getting married, having children, christening them, raising them in the way that the Lord says you're supposed to raise children, learning as you go along while being a parent, because parents don't actually know everything.
Yeah, they don't.
You get me? You still make mistakes as a parent, especially when you just start out.
Yeah.
Some things you have to relearn. Some things you have to just say, yo, you know, I need some advice from somebody. And if you have problems in your relationship, seek counseling. Right? Don't be toxic. Don't say, yeah, go to your friend and talk to your friend about your husband.
Yeah.
And you listen to your made friend with that can't even keep a man.
Yeah.
Much
You're
less.
single, you're made friend.
Yeah.
We are telling how to hold on a relationship.
Exactly.
And share self can hold on one man.
Exactly. Or any of your brethren them where I live them modest life or live them bachelor life and you know you married and you try to be like them man there. You get what me I say? You have to just stay in a lane. If you're committed to a wife, you have to just commit yourself to the wife. Right? If you wanted to be a bachelor and continue, you know, sleeping with as many women as you can, might as well you just never got married.
In the first place.
Live your bachelor life. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Your life, live it.
Yeah,
But
if you want to be like Sam, that's your option.
Wait, I'm not married.
No, the bachelor life.
Yeah.
If you want to go and live your
I'm not
modest
a-
life,
I'm a
be a
good
bachelor, cool. Everything's fine. Do your own thing. But once you know you're committed to a person,
Yeah.
and marriage is a serious thing, you have to just stay committed, right? You can't turn your back. You should have already considered everything from before you got married to this person. You can't just divorce them because the divorce rate is already high. What's the sense in going down on one knee, proposing to the person, you know you're not sure about them, but hey, what the hell, she has a big ass. You get me? And then later on you have to spend how much money just to get a divorce. That's way too much money being spent. That's way too much time being wasted. You get what I say? So if you decide say you want to be a bachelor, just be a bachelor and done. But the moment you find somebody and you want to commit to them, you have to just stay committed for the rest of the time, being with them straight up until they're dead.
Yeah.
That's just plain old truth about it.
Yeah.
You get what I say? Don't bother half-ass the thing, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, people, and that is chapter 1 of Aphrodite Chronicles. Stay tuned.
For that Chronicles.
It's a personal for me. The traditional family structure has always been the most successful ever since the dawn of time. So I'm not saying that exceptions don't count. Like, yeah, they do count, but
They don't make the
always
rule.
exception.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that in every single household you're going to have a happy family, and you know, because a lot of damaged people do grow up in two-parent households, but it's the most proven way where we have some of the most well-adjusted people in society.
Yeah.
Right.
Since the dawn of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I don't like look at it statistically. The single mother, well, single parent also.
Yeah.
The single parent also.
You know, funnily,
The single parent
like,
household.
I don't mind if I get cancelled today.
Yeah.
Single
Why
mother
do you want
household.
to get cancelled in the episode that I'm in?
Single mother household,
No,
not father.
statistically-
Single father statistically do well with
We're going to
children.
show it. We're going to show it.
Yeah.
But
I don't affiliate with these views or whatever. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Until the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
you know, alright, so statistically speaking, the single parent household produces some of the most damaged people out there, some of the most psychopathic criminal-minded people out there. Again, not saying that it doesn't happen in the traditional family household, but as I'm saying, we're going off statistics.
And traditional values can also be lacking in two-parent households.
Yeah.
Because I've seen two-parent households where the dynamic is either completely shift, where the woman is the one in control, the man isn't, or the man and woman are so broken because of the households they were previously from. So it's either toxic or
so a single father household can be just as damaging as a single mother. But as I was saying before, it's both of them. But statistically, bro, I can't be unfair. I have to say as it is.
Yeah,
the single motherhood household in the black community, right? Especially in inner city communities. Let's be honest. The data is out there, people. I'm not. We're gonna post it we're gonna show it in the video. I'm not talk rubbish, you know. They grew up in a single mother household. Although my mother actually got me right. I'm probably the exception to the rule.
Exactly.
You get me? I say, but
we will go and based off data that states that this is more likely to happen if these are the variables at play.
Bringing more successful individuals and more well-educated people in society.
Yeah, so a man is more likely to be gay if he has parents that are gay.
Exactly.
That's just a statistical.
Or if he's exposed to that kind of
behavior
environment from an early age.
Yeah.
You know.
Pretty much. Alright, so the final question we're gonna be jumping into. I don't think any of us here are in any serious long-term relationships. Probably something that's going on short-term, but like I know that we all have experience enough to be able to give decent advice. So Sam, what would you say are it doesn't have to be a particular number, but what are your top tips for healthy relationship?
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna give a few general ones, and I'll give one or two that are very applicable nowadays.
Yeah.
Alright. I mean, everybody knows communication is key, right? You gotta. Just today, I was watching a show on Netflix, right? And half of the plot is just people not communicating properly. Because you can see one thing and interpret it as something completely different. And assuming you trust the person, you can still watch them do something and think they have the worst, most malicious intent for it. But when it's not the case, it's something completely different. So communication, key. And again, you don't need to be extremely, you don't need to divulge your entire life, every minute to your partner.
Yeah.
But because there has to be some amount of trust there. But, you need your partner should be comfortable asking questions about, hey, what does this mean? Or why did you do this? Or, where were you? Whatever. And I'm not saying to do this in a controlling fashion of the sort, but they should be comfortable asking questions, and you should be comfortable answering them. And it goes both ways.
Yeah.
All right. If they are trying to simply have a better understanding of you and your lifestyle or the things that you do or the things that you think, that's the more they understand about that, the better it's going to be for the relationship. And you should do your best to try and understand your partner as well. All right. So that's communication. The next thing, this is something that I think applies specifically to men, in that your woman is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
That is true. The relationship you have with that woman is completely and 100% a reflection of you as a man. So if you come in there, you bring your problems and you bring your issues and your insecurities, your shortcomings. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, because I'm guilty of this. I get a partner I really like and I try to be perfect for them, and then I end up making mistakes because I'm trying to be perfect. But you can't walk into a relationship and just completely expect the other person to be okay with your nonsense, essentially.
Yeah.
You have to sort of be accountable to yourself at least. If you're not accountable to yourself, you can't be accountable to anybody else.
Best believe.
All right.
Which is one of the reasons why I even mention this a lot of women, because I've had many female friends in the past. Whenever they come out of a bad relationship, their thing is to just jump back into a next one without any kind of self-reflection, right, at what just took place and maybe how I can potentially fix things. A lot of times there's always going to be this blame shift. So I'm totally vindicated from everything that just took place in that bad relationship.
I think men are guilty of that as well. Everything bad that happened is the other person's fault. You can't look at life like that, because you could have done something to cause half of that and you don't even know. Because you never took the time to self-reflect, or you never even took the time to find out. One other thing I would say is know what you're looking for. before you go into a relationship. Well, this is kind of difficult, especially as you're younger. But you should have a goal for dating. If you're dating to just date, because you like this person, you find them attractive, that's one thing, and you should be upfront about that if you can be, as much as you can be, rather. But if you're dating and you're looking for something long term, or you're looking for specific things in a partner, you need to make that person aware. Obviously, timing is key here. You can't be just, you're on a first date or first time you're talking to somebody. Hey, I want this, this, and this from you. Obviously, use your head. But you have to know what you're looking for in a partner, and you have to. People can't read your mind, as much as we kind of expect that, and I think women are a little bit guilty of this more than
Very
men.
much so.
They expect men to know to read
very
their
much
minds,
so.
but
Yeah.
even men do it too. It's just like, look, you have to know what you want, and you have to know, is this person able to give you that? Because if not, you're going to spend that entire relationship resenting that person for not giving you what you want.
Yeah, because
Alright, and
women especially, they want a team of X-Men that mostly make up of Professor Xavier, essentially. They want us to read mind. I says some men are also guilty of that. Yeah.
I mean, look, it'd be the worst thing in the world to fuck up a relationship with somebody because you're not getting what you want, simply because you never asked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be the worst thing, and you could have had it all the time.
Yeah.
All you had to do was ask.
True.
All right, and then one last thing. Look, relationships are work. They're not.
Best believe.
They're not always going to be easy. You shouldn't. There are days you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, God, this person. But everybody has those days. Sometimes I wake up and I want to punch Ricardo in the face.
Wow.
Sometimes I see Bruce.
Revelations. Yes.
Sometimes I see Bruce and I'm like,
It's
I wonder what would happen if I lick him down.
it's because he knows I'm prettier than him.
Yeah.
I know, it's unfortunate.
Now he
right?
sees Bruce and he says, I wonder what it would be like being in his shoes. He's such a good looking guy. And I wonder what it would be like if I look like this
Thank
guy.
God me get scared.
Yeah, man. It's a hell of a thing when you're ugly.
Jones gets speared from this one, but what was I saying? Okay, relationships are work, and you have to go into a relationship, especially as it approaches a long-term relationship. You have to go into it understanding that you're not always going to be on that high with that person, that honeymoon phase. It's not always going to be, oh my God, I love you so much, you love me. Oh my God, you make me feel so good. Whatever.
It's fairy tale relationship. Yeah.
At some point it's gonna come down from a high, and it's just gonna be two people in a room talking to each other. And if you can't, because that's really what a relationship is.
Talking to each other.
Two people in a room talking to each other and interacting with each other and sharing things with each other, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't do that for the other person or with the other person, without that sort of emotional high that they give you,
Exactly.
then there's no relationship.
Yeah.
It's simply just you're using that person to pass time. All right. And that's it for me right now. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say on the topic. But I think if you have those things, you can have a successful relationship.
Yeah,
Well said, bro.
those are pretty good pointers for real.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce, what are your take?
Honestly, a healthy relationship for me, a lot of what Sam says, I definitely agree with. I myself, personally, this is how I generally depict a relationship for most people. So, a woman, you have to think of her as your pet dog, and you're the dog owner, right?
What did he say?
So you're raising this dog right now.
I do not.
He said, dog.
I do not affiliate with these views.
Yo. These are not the views of Olympus Strong and Sam Rock.
Supplements.
Hey, I'm joking, people. I'm joking.
You never sound like you were joking.
So I think of a relationship like a business, right? When you're running a business, right, you want to put your all into the business, right? There's a lot of trial and error. You have ups and downs. You're not always going to have those high periods where things are always wonderful. Same concept applies to relationships. A lot of people are looking for that dopamine high, which is it's a very negative way of viewing relationships, because the moment things don't seem wonderful and you're madly in love with the person, is like, I can't bother with this anymore. You have to look at the person like your best friend, especially if you're looking for something long term. This person is going to essentially be your best friend. Because you're going to have days you're going to want to strangle them. You're going to have days you're in the mood for having sex. You're going to have makeup sex. You're going to be in the most ridiculous situations with this person that you never imagined that you'd be in. You might even cheat on each other. All kind of things might come up in a relationship, or
We
get
don't endorse
close.
cheating,
Yeah,
though.
we don't. get close to even cheating. You know, if somebody cheats, by the way, you need
leave them. Don't
reassess
don't
them.
stay in a relationship with cheating.
And cheating is also probably it, and physical abuse are probably the only excuses that even the Bible says that you are allowed to get a divorce for.
Yeah, best believe. Right? It's essentially just having a healthy household. Even if you're not married, you're in any relationship that you're in, if that relationship feels like it's more work than it's worth, then maybe you need to reassess yourself. You know, people always assume that the reason the relationship doesn't work is because of the other person. Maybe there's some self-introspection that you need to be doing as a person to maybe figure out what am I not doing for this relationship, why it's not working out. You know, maybe you have some insecurities like Sam mentioned earlier, you know, something that's holding you back from giving the relationship your all or pushing it to another level. You know, it could be you, it could be the other person. You know, maybe you can, as I say, communicate with the person, help them to open up about certain things. You know, if it's not something that you can deal with yourself, it's some professional help, it's some professional advice. You can maybe talk to your family about things, keep things surface level. Not say you need to run to everybody about your business all the time, but sometimes you need to talk to people who may have experience in these things, you know, and do everything in your power to keep the relationship going as healthy as possible. You know, emulate those around you that are doing well and stuff like that, you know, pretty much.
Yeah. And to add on to that, when it comes down to the communication, I know communication is key, but interpretation is the keyhole, and you turn the key and it unlocks a lot of very valuable things. Because let's say, for example, you communicate how you feel about something, but the next person interprets it as if you accost them. That can also be a problem, and it's in and of itself. So you have to make sure that both of you have an understanding of one another, and how you even communicate, the mode in which you communicate, how you bring across the message is also important in order to have effective communication. Because there's a saying that goes, offense is not given, it's taken. So you could easily say something and you mean it in the most sincere way, but that person interprets it in a very sinister way. You understand? But that's not how you meant it to come across. You understand me? So even that you have to understand. So if you realize that the person is getting fiery and upset, nothing is wrong in saying, hey, I'm sorry that I brought it across like this, but I didn't mean for it to come off that way. I wanted it
how
to.
you say it, not what you say.
Exactly. So you have to make sure that you have a good understanding of one another. So and even that in itself takes time. It takes a lot of years, it takes a lot of dating, it takes a lot of spending time with each other. Relationship is work, as Sam said. It really is work. It's kind of like a full-time job that you never get any days off from.
Best believe. And don't go into relationship with high expectations of anything. Right? We're all humans at the end of the day. Initially. Right? And you need to understand that, as you know, as Ricky said, it takes time. You know, you're not going to fall in love with somebody overnight. This love at first sight thing, I don't believe in it. I think it's just high level of lust. You can develop a very strong connection with a person over a short period of time, especially if you spend a lot of time together. Because if you're with a woman 24/7 for 3 months, you can be closer to her than with somebody you were with for 10 years, and you probably see the person one day out of the month type of thing, you know. So yeah.
Personally, for me, the most important thing is vet the person before you decide to say, you know, you have a picnic with them. It makes sense here. We just, as Bruce was saying just a while ago, don't go into the relationship expecting to say, alright, you expect too much from the person. Like what am making sense? So take time to know the person, because it makes sense. Say, alright, the person who you want to spend the rest of your life with, you get to know them over a certain period of time, right?
Yeah.
And be honest, like as I say, alright, I'm gonna put it on. If you're a guy who say, alright, you want to be in a short-term relationship, so why you go to a girl you know so genuinely like you, and then you're gonna use her, you're gonna waste her time, hurt she, right? And then it's gonna perpetuate a cycle. I just, hurt people going around, hurting people. So be honest, bro, like you have girls out there who are short-term fun, just like you. So why not find them girly and then enjoy the time we want to spend with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of being dishonest, brother, and just hurting a girl that genuinely like you. Third thing, date.
Which creates a cycle of toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You have to have the mindset going into a relationship that you want to reciprocate and add value to the person, and that person has to feel the same way about you. That makes sense. Alright, you know, alright. You start a relationship, and the girl just want to. Alright, the girl will say, alright. The first date to go up and she expects you know you're gonna carry her go glorious, or maybe she want you fly her go Cancun. That makes sense, brother. Like,
Yep, on the first date.
you can't, like, how the hell a person are gonna expect say them want to spend the rest of them life with you, and them want to carry, them want to show you, alright, them not have no, how am I put it? I guess you can say like a long-term kind of mindset, because
Yeah, the nana be a top,
you know, yeah,
or you can put a price tag on love, you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
If a girl like you, bro, she's not going to expect a lot from you initially. Like, well, she's not going to expect a lot from you overall in terms of like money.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Can I just add something to that?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. If I'll say sorry, and this is about men and women. But for men, it's typically finances. But if a girl genuinely likes you, she's more interested in your time and energy than your money.
Exactly.
And the same thing applies to men. If a guy genuinely likes you, he's more interested in your time and your energy than your body.
Exactly.
So that applies across the board.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry to cut you.
so when you hear all them girls that talk about say, oh, you know, in order for me spend time with a brother, if you give him the time of the day, he have to shower me with gifts. That means you're entitled. You're not genuinely like me if you expect me to just
And you're
live
shallow.
life.
Yeah.
First day, I'm supposed to like I turn court just after you. I
Yeah.
try to put up an image, say, oh, you know me have this, and you're not genuinely like me. And the man know you like now, him can just be himself.
And if you really like
Yeah.
if a guy really likes you, let's be honest, he's going to provide for you.
Yeah, man, we're crazy.
It's going
over
to
it.
happen naturally.
That's it.
Yeah.
So look, you have to be mindful of this, because sometimes guys they'll do their best and they just don't have it like that yet.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful as a woman that you don't push away the wrong guy because he just doesn't have it like that, but he's doing his best.
Yeah.
But then there's guys who have it and just don't want to spend $1 on you because I don't like it like that.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: if a guy likes you for you, and he sees a future with you, he will spend his last dollar on you. Stupid as it sounds,
That's how we are.
he will do it.
You know?
Yeah.
Like men go to war to fight for them country, and them woman, and them pick me and them family. What make you think a man will game last? Because
Best believe you'll
that's how we
sacrifice
are
the
by
world
nature.
for
That's
somebody you
how people
love.
are by nature once them genuinely like
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
That's basically it.
Yeah, that's a very good way to end off, peeps. Alright. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video around, peeps. Remember, Samrock supplements, all this stuff you see on the table here. If you want to look like all them buff money, right? So take the supplements and peeps. Check out Sam. If anything you don't see here, him can make you know what else he might have in stock. Alright.
Check it on the website, check the Instagram, just send us a WhatsApp or a DM on Instagram if you don't see something that you want. Usually we can special order it for you, we can put it in our next shipment, or we can just bring it in for you. Usually the process takes, depending, about a week and a half. Alright? Again, thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
I hope I don't get cancelled. Just so you know, I'm just saying this to the camera. Not all the views expressed here are supported by, are endorsed by Samrock Supplements, Samrock Distributors, or any of the Samrock companies. Again, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it, guys.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have this.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you, Sam.
Yeah.
And we hope to do more videos with you over time.
Yeah, in the future. Man, we call him up again when we have another toxic. Sorry, we have another interesting video for
Another
that.
interesting.
Yeah. Olympus out.